Hey guys, and welcome back to Journey. We've got some extras to show off for you all today, so Richie, what does that entail exactly?
So, basically what this is going to entail is going through the trophies that you can collect that we weren't able to pick up on our first journey.
Oh.
If you stayed to watch the credits, which I hope you all did because I Was Born for This is such a wonderful bloody song.
It was, yeah.
It's just so beautiful. You see a magic symbol return from the top of the mountain and work its way all the way back through where we've come and landing right where we started.
Ah.
And as the sun rises, you can begin the journey again, which, at least in my mind, implies that our spirit has been reincarnated and this is just an endless journey, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we feel that our purpose is to make it to the top of the mountain, and upon reaching the top of the mountain we just have to start all over again. Now, if you collect every single symbol in the game, then this kind of bit of cloth will allow you to change the colour of your robe.
Ah, okay.
Our friend in the white robe had done this, so they'd collected all of the symbols, and then they had gone into here. And I was finding it really difficult, because I'd never done the white robing before, of how to make sure that was in the white robe. Basically, you've just got to make sure that the cloth is a different colour to you when you exit. So, I'm exiting when it's changed back to being white. I need to leave when it goes into being red.
Do you get it right eventually?
Eventually, yes, because I wanted to finish off this in the right... I wanted to be one of the white robes, because the lovely Wallopy helped us through our journey. Obviously, we got right at the end to know who our companion was. Obviously, if you've met many other companions along the way, then they will also show up there. Which is really lovely, because you can potentially forge really strong friendships based on such little amount of communication.
Yeah.
Now, what the white robe allows you to do is it automatically gives you a bigger scarf to begin with, which is great. But also, if you are just walking, it automatically regenerates your magic power. So it is very helpful for completing certain challenges. That's basically why I decided that I really needed to go white robe for what we're going to do. Because there are trophies which are pretty much... well, they're not dependent on the white robe, but the white robe really helps it out. Not this one, perhaps, but I thought I'd start with this because I really like the Road of Trials. Because basically, there is a trophy in this level for getting to, I think it's 20 archways.
Mm.
So you basically got the choice of either going through... either trying to get that trophy by going through all the archways, or getting the symbols.
But you can't do both.
You physically cannot do both. That's why I felt I needed to come back and do this separately. And it's the same with quite a few of the others. So one of the trophies is for getting through... getting across the bridge without rebuilding the entirety of it. Which is much easier if you've got the white robe, because you can pretty much cover most of the distance without fixing anything.
Well, we saw good old Wallopy, or whatever his name was, try and break the world, so yeah.
Well, exactly, yes. And then there is another one for freeing all of the cloth creatures in the desert.
That's still as beautiful the second time.
It really is. So we are going to try and do all of those.
Okay.
And it'll be quite glorious. There are obviously other trophies. There's one for not getting damaged by the Leviathans in the tunnels.
Uh-huh.
There's ones which are a bit more complicated, which I don't show off here because they are just too specific. Or at least ones that I couldn't manage to do and would have needed to do many, many playthroughs until I got. Because there's ones for meeting a certain number of companions along your journeys.
Oh, that's RNG bullshit.
Yeah, there's one which is you've got to meditate for, I think it's 20 seconds with a companion. So you press select and you can just sit down and meditate, which can be difficult to get someone to agree to do.
Right.
Because it's like trying to communicate that, but generally for people who play this game quite a lot, it's generally like if you meet a white robe and you kind of jump up and down a little bit and then press the select button and you go down to meditate, someone will join you. Or you can do the trick of staying at a certain point in the snowy journey bit, and hopefully someone will come and join you, and generally they will realise what you're attempting to do and help you out. And then there are other trophies, as in completing most of the journey, well, completing a journey with somebody else. And then there's trophies for sticking with one companion and completing that journey with one person.
Which you very nearly did.
I was so close to it. I was so frustrated. I can still get that quite easily because all I'd need to do is meet someone in the snowy area. Like, do this, going to the chapter select, going to the last chapter, meeting someone and then just sticking with them through that, because that would count as most of my journey. Which is nice that there is that option, but it does turn Journey into a little bit more of a video gamey game.
Yeah.
Which it's really not, but it's nice that the option's there. I feel, as we do a little bit more, whilst we were watching the credits, obviously you guys at home weren't able to hear mine and Tom's discussions, there weren't really very much of it, but Tom was asking me what language was being sung. And actually it's a mixture of multiple languages in I Was Born for This. Because it takes numerous, quite famous lines from very famous texts. So you've got a quote from the Aeneid, you've got a quote from Beowulf, you've got a quote from the Iliad, you've got a quote from Joan of Arc, and you've got a quote from Basho. The lines are Start sua cuique dies, which is Latin for to each his day is given, from the Aeneid. Then you have what I think is Mael is me to feran, which is time it is for me to go, from Beowulf. And then you have the Greek from the Iliad, which I don't have the exact transliteration here, but it was something like Meto with Pui Nostos, or something along those lines. Really bad on that one, but on Austin Wintory's Bandcamp, where you can download the soundtrack, he's got the lyrics here, and it's in Greek, and I'm just like, I can't read Greek. But basically that line is, Lost is my homecoming. And then you have the bit from Joan of Arc, which is, C'est pour cela que je suis né, which is, I was born for this. Then you have the bit from Basho, which is, phonetically, Kono michi ya yuku hito nashini aki no kure, which is, along this road goes no one this autumn eve. And then you have another bit from Joan of Arc, which is, Ne me plaigne pas, which is, do not pity me. And then you get the reprise of, C'est pour cela que je suis né. I was born for this.
Man, there's a lot going on in those lyrics, and shall we discuss our interpretations of the ending?
Yes, I'm totally up for that. I'll let you go first.
There are a few theories running through my mind, one of which I dismissed almost immediately, was he died, or it died, and that was just his last dying thoughts of what he believed the top of the mountain was like.
Yes.
Or it could have been, I don't know, literally becoming a god and going to the top of the mountain and then maybe reincarnating or something. Both of those are viable. I'm not really sure, since obviously you don't get an answer, but what do you think?
I mean, so my interpretation is very much in line with the reincarnation theory, and I think the game does support that quite strongly. Because obviously you get to the top of the mountain, you become a shooting star, the star works its way all the way back to where you began, and you can begin the journey again. And because of the fact of the final screen that you see is also the title screen, and there's that lovely transition as the sun rises to it coming up with New Journey, which I think really does hammer home the fact that we are reincarnated and can continue this journey.
And, there's that bit on the mural of you coming from the stars.
Exactly. So I feel that is probably the most likely thing. The way that I see the kind of the rise through apotheosis is that our ancestors in the white robes came together to help us on that final bit of our journey to make it to the end. But it's left open, because at the end of the day, what is at the top of the mountain does not matter. What matters is the fact that we made it there, the fact that we went through those trials and we made it to our destination, and we met a companion who we forged a meaningful relationship with, and it was just really lovely.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a video game, so
yes.
Is that enough of a reward to reach the end of your journey and just be satisfied with that? And I mean, we are veering into slightly pretentious discussion here, but it needs to be said. Should there have been a definitive ending?
In my mind, no, largely because I felt that what we were given was just very, very powerful. I know that there are many people who I think were disappointed in that ending and found it just like, well, what was the point? But then it hammers into the point of, well, the point was everything that you've just done. I just feel that it's such a powerful artistic moment that it just works in my mind.
So what are we angling for now, mate? More trophies?
Yes, so the trophy that we're trying to get now is trying to get across the bridge without completely repairing it.
Okay.
I think it is technically possible to make it across every single bit of the bridge using our lovely white scarf and its regenerative powers.
Yeah, you nearly did it the first time, actually.
I nearly did it the first time, but I just missed out. So what you can do... I mean, honestly, I very much wanted to repeat what my friend did, of magically flying about everywhere. I don't quite know how he managed it. But I am going to make it across, because I got the trophy after the end of this. But essentially, it's okay to rebuild part of the bridge.
Yeah, because you said before, you've got to make it across a partially remade bridge, not the full one.
Exactly. It is possible to do it without rebuilding anything, but I mean, what I believe was suggested in the guide that I've read is that you rebuild all the rest of the bridge, but that bit, and then you can make it there. But then I actually found it easier to rebuild that bit, so that, you can actually get up here easily. And then it's quite simple then to just fly from that point onwards.
Yeah, just give you a bit of a head start, really.
Exactly. It's just nice to be able to do this in a slightly different way than you're forced to when you are without the white robe. So really, the white robe is a wonderful reward for completing the game, almost.
It looks great as well.
Oh, definitely. And so the whole thing I was saying with the white robes and other players is that I think quite a few other players, mostly when Journey released and people started completing it, was that people thought, well, I've completed this journey, I know where everything is, therefore in a way it's my duty to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And so they use the white robe as a symbol to say, you can follow me, you can trust me, I will help you complete this game too, and then you can go on to help other people. And that's just really lovely. another thing I feel I should point out is that as you continue to complete journeys, the golden embroidery on the bottom of your robes gets more and more elaborate. So you begin with hardly anything, and then you get a bit more of a decal, and then you get more, and then you get more. I think it's only up to about 3 journeys, after which you can't get any more on there. But it is just nice to also have that marker of, that's how many journeys I have completed.
I was mentioning something to Richie during the credits, which obviously, again, you didn't hear, but I mentioned the phrase stable time loop.
Yes.
And I was probably barking up the wrong tree here, but just as we were being guided through the journey by our mate, I began to wonder, is that us leading ourselves through the journey? Like, obviously we're going through now with the same costume and whatnot, so, I don't know.
That is certainly something that you could interpret being the case. And I think that's what's really nice about Journey, is that it is ambiguous, and it does let you decide what you want the case to be. And I think that just makes it very, very effective as a game, because it's not... How should I put this? It's not being ridiculously pretentious in its ambiguity.
It's not even giving you a chance to find any pretension there, because there's no, like, dialogue or anything.
Exactly. It's very minimalistic. It's like a beautiful Japanese garden, as obviously was the intention. And if you look at the designs of, well, the world design, it's got quite a lot of Asian influence, but on the whole, it's without culture, because it takes bits from a whole range of cultures from across the world.
Yeah, obviously you've got a desert here, which is like, I don't know, African, I guess.
Yeah, so yes, but in general, the whole thing that I think I was trying to work towards as a point before I got myself off on a tangent,
yeah,
is just that because it's so minimalistic, and because it's just it's entirely single-mindedly focused on that journey, that you can't call it pretentious. It is arty. It perhaps does err slightly close to quite a few people's line for pretension, and probably in the way that we have been discussing it, there is pretentiousness.
Yeah, I wouldn't really put it against anyone to describe it as pretentious. I mean, art is subjective at the end of the day.
Well, exactly. But I feel that this is, as a game, does a very good job of being very arty, very insanely arty, but managing to do it in a way that is accessible and actually really powerful.
I mean, that bit at the end where you, spoilers, die in the tundra, that gave me pause, I say that much.
Yeah, I remember when I first experienced that, I was just like, my god. And then going into the joy, the sheer euphoric joy of the sky and apotheosis was just... My god, I definitely had tears in my eyes because it was just so beautiful. And I think it's one of those things which is even more powerful when you play it, more so than if you watch it. It's still powerful if you watch it.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But having gone through the entire journey and reaching that release it's just a perfect storm.
You know what's funny? Now that I have seen the story through, I noticed that the things that those like little carpet creatures are stuck inside, they're leviathans, aren't they?
Essentially, yes. They are broken down leviathans.
So were they using the carpets and whatnot to power those machines?
I mean, that's certainly what I would probably go with as a suspicion.
Because you notice in like the murals and whatnot, they're using it to power certain things. It's being ripped apart and whatnot.
And I mean, if you think about the hammerhead shark cloth creature / the whale cloth creature, obviously that was used as a design for or as the basis for those Leviathans.
Who made the Leviathans, though?
Well, my assumption at least would be our robed ancestors.
Who are really tall in comparison to the modern-day ones.
Yes. But then perhaps not. They were perhaps the elders. Or the spirits of the ancestors.
I suppose.
There's a whole bunch of different things you can go with.
Yeah, we could do an hour of just discussion on this kind of thing, really.
Exactly. Now, this is me exploring the desert to try and find all of the cloth creatures. Which is very difficult. I'd say, if you want to get everything in the desert, just use a guide.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you are going to be exploring for a very long time.
You know, deserts, true to form, they can look a bit samey after a while.
Exactly. And obviously while you can... Well, right, so this is something that I didn't necessarily cling on to at the start. And actually, I don't think I did find the flower in that first run. Because I think that's actually what I'm going to potentially try and find now. Because when you reach that, I think it's that particular area-ish, two shooting magic spells fly out from the mountain. One of them becomes a symbol for you to collect, and the other leads you towards the flower. So the whole point is that you kind of use it as a guide to where you need to go, if you want to see the flower. I might be going to show it, I might not. I got very, very lost
It's fine,
in
right?
trying to do this last bit. But I was able to do it because I didn't have anybody with me. So I didn't have anybody to steal freeing my cloth creature friends.
There you go.
So it all worked out. And obviously if you don't have an internet connection, then you won't be able to have a companion on your journey. Which is quite sad, but... really, I think it would be particularly cruel if you weren't able to play the game at all.
Oh yeah, that'd be really shitty, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I would rather have the game be single player, and, like, you be able to play it offline than that awful, forced online component that quite a few games in recent memory seem to push really hard.
I mean, the optional co-op in the game is, implemented really intuitively.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, I think it was one of the things that was particularly amazing to people when they first played the game, because obviously nobody knew what to expect. And then they came across these robed travellers who they thought were just NPCs.
Yeah.
They thought that they were just characters in the game and that was just what happened. And then they got to the end of the game and realised that there were actual human people behind those figures that they had travelled with. And obviously that, I think, is why it won so many awards. I mean, at the 16th Annual DICE Awards, which were formerly known as the Interactive Achievement Awards, Journey won 8 awards in total, the most honours received of the night, which included Game of the Year, Outstanding Innovation in Gaming, Casual Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction, Outstanding Achievement in Online Gameplay, Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition, and Outstanding Achievement in Sound Design.
I agree with all of those.
Yes, and it was also nominated for Downloadable Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Gameplay Engineering, and Outstanding Achievement in Story. It also was selected as the Best Game of the Year by numerous places, including IGN and GameSpot. And also, it was the soundtrack for the game was nominated for the Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media at the 2013 Grammy Awards, making it officially the first video game soundtrack to be nominated for that category.
Wow.
It didn't win it, unfortunately.
Aww.
But the fact that it received that accolade of being the first video game soundtrack nominated in that category at the Grammys is huge.
Pretty big, yeah.
And then it went on to win 5 awards at the 2013 BAFTAs. Artistic Achievement, Audio Achievement, Game Design, Online Multiplayer, original music, and was then obviously nominated for Best Game, Game Innovation and Story. It won 6 awards at the annual Game Developers' Choice Awards: Best Audio, Best Game Design, Best Visual Arts, Best Downloadable Game, Innovation Award and Game of the Year. So people really, really, really loved Journey when it came out. Like, critics were all over it.
If I didn't believe you at the start of the playthrough, I sure as hell do now. So, we've come to the end of Journey, mate. We've got like a couple of minutes left here. Your overall thoughts on the game?
Well, as you can probably tell, I am absolutely enamoured with it. I cannot help but gush, because I just ended up having such a connection with the game. Just the experience that I had was just magical, and there's no real other way I can describe it. And I think because I had such a wonderful time and a wonderful experience, it stuck with me, and I just cannot get it out of my mind. And I was just so excited to be able to share this journey with my subscribers on my channel, and now you guys.
You know, going into this, I thought, well, you know, I'm never going to play it, so I may as well watch it. But now that I've watched it, I kind of want to play it.
Damn well you should.
You said it was on PS4, right?
Yes, you can get it digitally on PS4, but you can actually, I think, also get it physically if you look in the right places. I think there's actually a That Game Company collection that you can get, which has got all 3 of them in it.
Interesting. Might go with that then.
But yes, this is the end. I thought I would go for the uplifting finale. Rather than finishing the game by descending into the depths, I thought I would have us flying off into the sky.
Ah, as you should.
Exactly. So, I mean, really all I have to say is, Tom, thank you very much for letting me share this with the lovely followers of HFC, because it really does, this game does mean a lot to me now.
Fair enough, mate. I mean, you know, you're the one who recorded the game and did most of the talking, so I'm just the player who comes in after and edits the commentary and whatnot, you know? But yeah, I'm glad I sat through this. It has indeed been a journey, and yeah, I think I might have to experience the journey for myself. But that's all the time we have for this particular HSC playthrough, so we'll see you next time for another one. Goodbye.